So, welcome back to another broadcast of the Joker, 50K3R2, the worst and laziest superhero on the planet. Pardon the usual break there. I had to take the intermittent puff off the lightsaber. So, I was thinking today I would get more into, get into myself a little bit more. I mean, it's about all a superhero can do when all you have is yourself to entertain. So there's many things that for the moniker that I've adopted, and I'm guessing the reason why I ended up adopting this is because I found out that nobody else did. But nobody else did because they wanted to put it up on a pedestal. Well, guess what? I am just that guy. Pardon, have to get some coffee here. So yummy in the morning. So, I am just that guy that, is just the smart aleck enough to go, looks like somebody left the fish lying around here, and I will just, lying on the beach here, so I will just up and grab her. So, as the person that I am, I use, this is going to be a really cheesy joke here, I use God to its full advantage, and God is an acronym that has stood for two things as far as I'm concerned: guns, oil, and drugs, and the other one is Google, online, and what was the D stand for? Oh, yeah, female devices. And so I'm getting out of my twine here, getting a little bit more relaxed. This will be slightly more adult oriented than probably many of my previous ones. And that's no big deal to me. It really isn't. It's mostly just to get into the psychology of the Joker that everybody kind of knows and loves anyway. So, there's a reason I've had to put this backstory together. The Joker himself, I mean the comic book one, probably spent his life in, a few mental asylums, which, they haven't existed for, they exist, but they're not in the form that a lot of people understand. I mean, an Arkham Asylum just really doesn't hack it these days. Things are too nice. Things are too nice, and prior to being thrown into the slammer, so to say, the Joker probably was a person that spent his life on the dirty side of things, or had a very tumultuous upbringing with, with parent problems, father problems, probably much like what Heath Ledger kind of put around. That, he had either probably... This is the thing with the Joker, and this is the thing with people that have, unless you're a pathological liar, which, the hilarious thing with the Joker is he has zero reason to lie. And he has zero reason to lie, because he is such a fruit bat. And this is a thing that many people discover that is just so off the wall with not crazy people, but just people that are a little on the different side, is that they actually have, these are some of the most honest people you will ever flip and meet, because they have no reason to lie except out of fear. But once the fear is dispelled, they become the chatterboxes that you, with the credentials that some of them end up getting. And many of them And I'm talking about the harmless ones. I'm not talking about the real psychopaths out there, which the Joker ended up turning into, or was probably ended up turning into later on. And that these people do not have any reason to lie. There is zero reason, especially when you're dealing with psychologists and they're actually just wanting to seek help anyway. So, and this is a thing that quote-unquote normal people do not understand, is that a lot of people who think they have problems really don't have problems. And a lot of people that have problems think they don't have problems until it gets thrown in their faces really, really hard. And really, really hard until it's plain undeniable. Plain undeniable. And this was the whole birth of psychology in the first place, even before Freud and Carl Jung. This was the whole point of, this is why this was even born, is because people started really recognizing, due to the Renaissance style of thinking, that possessions and whatnot do not apply to the human condition as much as a lot of people would want to think, basically. And once they got that through their skulls, back in the past, they started focusing on things. The best movie, literally the best movie I've ever watched, two movies that I've ever watched on these fronts, and are From Hell, the Jack the Ripper story with Johnny Depp, and then the other one was obviously A Beautiful Mind. But the one that hit it the most historically and very accurately, I will not mind you, you just got to go look through the history books a little bit, or the history internet a little bit, and you will find that the psychology of the 1800s, before Freud came along, was whoo-wee, quite terrifying in many, many aspects. It's no wonder the movie From Hell was as jittery as it was. It was more of a suspense movie than a Jack the Ripper movie, you know? It was showing the bad side of psychology. It wasn't showing Jack the Ripper hardly at all. It was showing the horror of the psychology of the day. That was the whole point of that movie. And so the thing with the Joker is that he was a modern day version, and they recognized this clear back in the 40s was the most, 1941 or something like that. The introduction of the Red Hood. I'm not sure which comic number it was, but the thing is that the discovery for most people that legitimately not lunatics, but off the wall people are generally 100% honest within their perspective is quite the mind blow. The thing that separates, the main thing that separates a person that is quote unquote not normal, operating within the normal parameters. We have more. What was this saying from one guy I really enjoyed? That we have more of a grasp of the insane mind than we do of the sane mind. Of the sane mind. We have a better grasp of insanity than we do sanity. And that's the reason this makes it so difficult. But the main thing with the, not the terminally insane, but the people that have insanity characteristics that are still operable within society to an extent, is that these people do not have any reason to lie. I mean, unless you are legitimately a pathological liar, which those are actually very few and far between. Most of the people that can be termed a pathological liar are quite legitimately sane for the most part. That's a really, as a psychologist, or as an unlicensed psychology student that has done mostly pro bono research, namely what I'm saying about myself here, is that that one single discovery, and I have to say a discovery, just a personal discovery, is that is a quite the wallop. But this is part, and the part of this job of a psychologist is recognizing where the delusion starts, so to say, because that's part of insanity, is very delusional thinking, and not so much psychosis, but just delusional thinking. And psychosis can get really, that one's the bigger enigma, the bigger Edward enigma. And pardon me, need to puff on the lightsaber there. And but yes, the people that actually I'm meaning really the harmless people. Okay, they don't have any reason to lie, and this is especially true of maniacs. And when I talk about a maniac, I'm talking about a person that is diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and that they are on the upside of things. That doesn't mean that they are in a mania episode. Okay, that does not mean by any means that they are in a mania episode. The thing with bipolar disease, as I've been discovering, is that many of them are quite stable. Many of them are very quite stable, that you couldn't even pick them out among many people, in all honesty. And the thing here is that the moniker that there's a fine line between genius and insanity is a little wrong. Is a little wrong. There's actually quite a thick line to an extent, but there is also, it can taper. It can taper, and it can have its weak spots and stuff like that. That is a very real thing to understand, that it just as in life, there is no black and white. There is just different shades of gray and Carmelo and other colors in the mix. Following the euphemism there, there is no black and white in any of this. It really just boils down to, are you violent or are you not, or is there intermixings of the two and stuff like that. Like for this Joker, for this particular Joker, it is more a matter of why I claim the superhero moniker, and why I go with that I'm the laziest superhero on the planet too, because I'm mostly using my voice here as therapeutic. I'm being my own superhero. That's why I'm terming it the laziest. I also have a big love for humanity, and I'm one of those guys that has sat and read for just years and years and years. My personal joke is if I did not have the internet, I would be one of those guys that would have at least an entire room just stacked with newspapers. Okay, that is my personal joke about myself. Newspapers, non-fiction books, fiction books, the whole 9 yards. Just reading in general has been my biggest love. And especially when it comes to love of the sciences. Of just all sorts, shapes, and colors, whether it's legitimate or not. To be honest with you, I've had zero problems, qualms, exploring things that are outside the collegiate purview, so to say. Because there are specks of gold in every piece of crap, as a way of putting it. And by the way, that's scientifically true if you didn't know. So, among other things, it's part of, like, my personal episodes that I've had. Trust me, this is not an episode. This is part of my now YouTube series that I'm just going to sit here and monologue and do a nice radio show, and this one is actually going to be my longest recording. I've already broke my previous record just already, and I'm very happy to see that, especially on such a wonderful subject of just yakking, basically. So, what happened with me? What happened with me personally is Mania episode that erupted not like this, but I can tell you it's kind of based off of it. It kind of is based off of it. In fact, you know, it's one of those things that really scares a guy, really scared a guy. But, you know, I had to end up doing I figured, holy crap, I might as well just see what my brain puts out here. So here I am doing I was going into the real person there, so to say. Just to give you an idea that you can speak in a real format and act at the same time. I am fully differentiating between the two, but it's so much funner to, you know, do the act at the same time, because it just adds a little bit more zest to the role. You know, it's really what this is about, for listening purposes. And to give you an idea that being a real-life Joker really isn't that out of the way, but and the thing here is, like I said, I'm on the superhero side, and in the form of a comedian, no less. I mean, that's the fun part here. Is I am just trying to make one colossal joke. One colossal harmless joke. And it's not even that funny. It's really cheesy, in fact. I mean, I've already explained this in a few of the other broadcasts, and I'm just kind of going around in circles here. Like the maniac that I am. So, there's really not a whole lot to take away from this. I just wanted to get a ramble out there. Because I'm drinking coffee and smoking on a lightsaber here. Being really bored can be just a lot of fun, and especially where I want to do an entire YouTube series at this point. I'm having so much fun with this, and there's no harm involved here, actually. I mean, none of this can even be used against me. If it did get used against me, it'd be a bigger laugh. So this is your buddy, the Joker, 50K3R2, the worst and laziest superhero, over and out, and I hope you have a wonderfully blessed day.